And so you get right wherever you have to be so that you're seeing just my hands and the heart. Okay?
Miss Vickers, you don't mind if I like record this on my own?
Go for it. Go for it.
I should
Okay.
have somebody recording this on my thing, on my tablet, but okay. You can send it to me.
Are you good?
Please give me your email.
Okay. All right, we ready.
Okay, here we go. This is a sheep's heart. And so we're going to take a peek at the different parts of this heart. Let's look here first. We have the pointy end is the apex. The end where the blood vessels enter in. Up here is the base. Remember, we thought that was kind of odd the way it was named. We have our atria. They're a little bit smushed, but you see the auricle of this atrium over here. Looks like a little ear. And here's the auricle on the right side. This big, huge blood vessel right here is the pulmonary trunk. So that's my landmark. That's what's going to tell me that this is the anterior surface of this heart. I'm looking for this, and it comes at an angle, and so that's how I know where my anterior surface is. If I look behind that, I'm going to have my aorta right here. And then if I look back here, I should have my vena cava. So here is the superior portion of that vena cava going into the right atrium. Am I missing anything from the exterior? It's over on this page right up here.
Oh, okay. So the apex, the base, the pulmonary trunk, the aorta, the vena cavas, the ventricle, and the auricle. So yeah.
Okay, ventricles down here. So you can actually see the sulcus here. That divides the two ventricles. So there, that's our external anatomy. Now what we want to do is we're going to have to make a cut to get inside. And I'm going to start here with my pulmonary trunk. I use scissors, at least for part of this, to get through this blood vessel so I can do it neatly. Now as I go through this blood vessel, what am I running into, do you think? What should be inside of that blood vessel?
Blood.
No, we've taken the blood out.
Valves.
Oh, a valve. What valve should be in that pulmonary trunk? Do you remember what it was called? It's a semilunar, and we called it the pulmonary semilunar, right? Do you see this little cusp here that's on my finger? Can everybody see that little tissue there? It looks like a little piece of fat, almost, yeah. That's one of the cusps to that semilunar valve,
And it's got 3 of them, right?
right? You have another one right here,
Okay.
and another one that I've kind of mangled along the way, apparently. So now I'm heading into this right ventricle. Now, not everybody's going to see this now, but you'll see it on the video, hopefully, because Bree's going to get this perfect for us here. Do you see this little thing right here? This thing right here is the moderator band. I know I have at least one person who's going into ultrasound. This moderator band is used as a landmark. It tells us that we're in the right ventricle when we see it.
So it's only in the right ventricle?
Only in that right ventricle. So we can see it right there, and it kind of cuts across. So now we've kind of we've been heading into the right ventricle, and if we look at this right ventricle, if we look at the wall, do you see kind of the bundles of muscle tissue that we have here? It kind of looks like cords of muscle tissue. That's the trabeculae carnii. Remember the fleshy or meaty trabeculae that we talked about?
Right
So-
there on the wall. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's just part of the
The
wall.
grooves.
See those little grooves and the little cords that they make? So that's that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to cut down from the back side here.
You know, on the lab exam, you're going to have like a real heart, like.
We will have hearts on the lab exam, absolutely. So let me cut down here to speed up with what I've done here. So I'm kind of opening up the right side for you just a little bit more. You can see that moderator band. I'm going to go to the back side of this just a little bit more here.
There's a moderator.
See that moderator
Oh,
band
yeah,
right
that's what it
there
looked like.
going across?
Like a rubber band.
Could you
Yeah.
pivot it to us for a minute?
There.
Thank you for
okay.
that.
See it?
Yeah.
So we can see that. We can also see, if we look back far enough here, trying to clean out some of the extras that we have here, we can see part of the AV valve. So I've cut through the AV valve right here. Here's a cusp to the AV valve. I can see it more easily there. I'll see things a little bit better on the left side. Do you see the little stringy pieces right here? What are those?
Oh, the cornea tendon.
Cordy
the
tendinae or tendinous cords, okay?
Tendinous cord.
That's what's holding on to this AV valve here and anchoring it to papillary muscles. So we can see that where they're being anchored, here's a papillary muscle right here. And again, I'll try to turn it so everyone can see, but
Yeah, right there.
right there. So that's the right side. Let's go on to the left side now for just a moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the aorta now. I like to cut through these blood vessels, and I'm a little bit of a hacker on this part of things, just so I can follow it through.
Do the human heart sound like that? Is it that rough?
It's thick. This is a nice muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just looking at it just as it was a muscle. So what I did is I cut through the aorta. And so I should have a valve there also, right? What valve is in the aorta? You see it right here? Aortic semilunar valve, very good, or aortic valve. So there it is right there. And then as I move down, I can actually see, again, let me cut this open just a little bit further so we can see this a little bit better. I can see the AV valve right back here. And so I see again the little tendinous cords, see the papillary muscles very nicely. And do you see kind of along the back wall here, it's harder for me to get to for you guys over there, but there's your trabeculae carnii. And so you can see that right back here. The other thing we need to do, so we've seen those structures, those are major structures. We need to look at the wall a little bit. So if I look at the exterior, see, remember what we call this shiny outer covering on the heart?
Epicardium.
Epicardium, or what's another name for it? Visceral. Yeah, the visceral pericardium. I have the meaty portion.
Myocardium.
Myocardium, remember? Myo for muscle. And then we have the shiny inner lining is called the
Endocardium.
endocardium, endo for inside. And so those, I believe, are all the structures that we needed to see on this heart. So make sure that when you do your dissection, you can find those things. The easiest thing to do, though, is to cut down those blood vessels. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we'll leave this one.